الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين فيها يفرق كل أمر حكيم أمر من عندنا إنا كنا مرسلين رحمة من ربك إنه هو السميع العليم. ويقول الله تعالى إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. As everyone knows, across the globe, Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed us as individuals and as an ummah to once again witness one of the most important times in the life of the Muslim, and that is Laylatul Qadr. The last 10 nights of Ramadan, the last 10 days of Ramadan, unlike any of the previous 20 days that have passed in Ramadan. And the ulama of Islam, taking a look at what the Prophet instructed sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this issue of the last 10 days of Ramadan and other than this, they came to the clear conclusion, as far as time is concerned, Allah Azza wa Jal put emphasis on the last third of many aspects of the time that are connected to our ibadat. The last third is not like the first third or the second third in many of the ibadat in al-Islam in regards to the time. And what was collected by Imam al-Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu wa ardahu said that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Inna Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala yanzilu كل ليلة إلى السماء الدنيا حين يبقى ثلث الليل الأخير. Allah Ta'ala, the Most High, the Most Blessed and Exalted, every single night He comes down in a way that befits Him, His Majesty, to this dunya, the sama of this dunya. He comes down when there remains the last third of the night. So He doesn't come down to Barak Ta'ala in the first third or the second third, but He gave virtues to the last third of the night. And He says, who's making dua so that I can answer him? Who's seeking al-istighfar so I can forgive him? Another example is the year itself, the year in the life of the Muslim. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned, Inna iddatu ash-shuhuri inda Allah 12 shahra yawma khalaqa as-samawati wal-ard. When Allah created the heavens and the earth, He destined them to be 12 months. He created the months and He made them 12 months. So the first 4 months of the Islamic calendar, all are important. Especially in that the first month has Muharram and Ashura. The second 4 months are all important. It has the month of Rajab in it, and it's a sacred month. But the last 4 months of the Muslim calendar are not like the first 2/3 of the month. Allah didn't make it like that. He made the last 4 months, the last third, more important than the previous ones. So the last 4 months in the Muslim calendar is Ramadan, and then Shawwal, and then Dhul Qadr, and then Dhul Hijjah. They're the best days and the best months in the dunya. So again, the emphasis and the point is, Allah Azza wa Jal, He made the last third of the calendar year, Islamic calendar year, more important and more virtuous than the previous two. Clearly, Ramadan being the 9th month, the Nabi, as you all know, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, قال من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. And all of those virtues of Ramadan, to the point when the Nabi stood on the first step, second step, third step, Jibril came to him on the first step of the minbar and said, رغم أنف من جاءه رمضان ثم أدبر فلم يغفر له. May the person's nose be dragged in the dirt. The one who Ramadan comes and it leaves and he wasn't forgiven. It's a golden opportunity. Shayateen are tied up. The doors of Jannah are open. The doors of the hellfire are closed. Laylatul Qadr is in that month. The month of Shawwal is in the last third of the Islamic calendar. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, من صام رمضان وأتبعه ست من شوال كان كصوم الدهر. Anyone who fasts month of Ramadan and then follow them up with 6 days of Shawwal, it is like he fasted the whole lifetime or the whole year. That's in the last third of the year. The month of Shawwal, the month of Dhul Hijjah, the month of Dhul Qadr, the last 3 months, they are the sacred, they are the months in which we perform the Hajj. All 3 of them. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran, Al-Hajju Ashhurun Ma'lumat. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجِّ فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فَسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ. The months of Al-Hajj are well known, and they are Shawwal. So after the month of Ramadan, if you plan on performing Hajj this year, it is permissible for you, if you're going to perform the Hajj that is known as a Tamattu', which is the best Hajj, where the person makes Umrah and he comes out of his Ihram, and then on the day of Al-Hajj, he puts his Ihram back on and he does the Manasik of Al-Hajj. If you're going to perform Hajj this year, you can go in the month of Shawwal to perform your Umrah. So it goes to show, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, they are from the months of Al-Hajj that were mentioned in the Quran. Dhul Qa'dah and Dhul Hijjah, the last 2 months of the calendar year, are 2 sacred months that come back to back. As for the last month, Dhul Hijjah, he says sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, and what was collected by Imam Muslim on the authority of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiyallahu anhu wa ardaahu, ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيهن أحب الله من هذه الأيام. There are no days in which the good deeds that people do are more beloved to Allah than the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. So the best days of the dunya are in the last third, in the Thuluth al-Akhir, the last third of the month, and the best nights of the dunya are also in that last third, and that they're in the month of Ramadan. So Laylatul Qadr, again, the fact that is in the last third of Ramadan, this is a consistent pattern that we see in this religion, where Allah Azza wa Jal put emphasis on the last third of our ibadat concerning a particular time. Even our lives, the last third of your life is better than when you were young, and it's better than the Middle Ages that we have been blessed with receiving. The Nabi asked the people, Ya Rasulullah, who's the best of the people? He said, the best of the people are those people who lived a long time and they did righteous deeds. So his beginning life is important. It's the formidable years. His middle age life is important. He's going to do a lot of ibadat. But when he's in the last third, that's when the real barakah comes, as he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-barakah ma'al akabirikum. The blessings are with those who are older. So in terms of time and the ibadat in Islam, the last third has emphasis. And this Laylatul Qadr is like that. And that is the last third of the month of Ramadan. Few issues, Ikhwani, we want to bring to your attention as a reminder concerning the ahkam of Laylatul Qadr. Things that we can't allow to escape our minds and our understanding. The Nabi said about it, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, iltamisu Laylatul Qadr fil ashr al-awakhir min Ramadan. Look for Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And he didn't mention anything about the nights. He said the last 10 days. So there are some people who are of the opinion that Laylatul Qadr can be in the odd night as well as the even night. You will find that position with some of the people of knowledge because of the statement of the Nabi, look for it in the last 10 days. But then there comes a more specific statement that was collected by Bukhari and Muslim. Aisha, our mother, radiyallahu anha, said that the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, iltamisu Laylatul Qadr fil witri min al-ashr al-awakhir min Ramadan. Look for Laylatul Qadr in the last odd nights of the last 10 days. Look for it in the odd nights. So that is specific, and the specific statement is given precedence over the general statement. The khas is put before the am. And if the Muslim doesn't know about this principle in his religion, will make some serious mistakes. Now is not the time for that, but the scholars of Islam, most of them are of the opinion, it's the correct position, that Laylatul Qadr is in the last odd nights in the last 10 days. Some of the people who call themselves Quraniyun, may Allah protect us and our children from falling into their grasp. They say because of Ramadan, they have the most of their proofs of why they want to abandon the Sunnah. Because there are a lot of misunderstandings that people can have if they're not grounded in knowledge and Iman. How is it possible that Laylatul Qadr, which is one night, that the Quran was revealed in a specific night, how can it be on the 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, or 29th? It either has to be this or that or this or that or this or that. The fact that there's a possibility that it can be multiple days is a fact and a proof, according to them, that the Sunnah is not from Allah Ta'ala, and the Sunnah can be rejected or accepted according to one's whims. Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِي اخْتِلَافٍ كَثِيرًا. If this Quran was not from Allah, you would have found in it many discrepancies, like Laylatul Qadr, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29. So they say this is a proof where you don't have to take the Sunnah because it's not sure. This was not the minhaj of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam radiyallahu anhum ajma'een. Whether they understood or they didn't understand, they embraced everything that came out of the mouth of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were not arrogant and had the nerve and the audacity to take and to leave what went along with their hawa. If I understand, I'll take it, and if I don't understand, I won't take it. The vast majority of knowledge, we don't understand. We don't know about it. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. You people have only been given a little bit of knowledge. So in Ramadan, a man came through that door and he walked to the Prophet in front of all of the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? The Prophet said no. Another man came through the other door and he asked the same exact question, Ya Rasulullah, can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? He said yes. The companions looked at each other. The same incident happened with this man and that man, the same question, and he gave different answers. Not one of them hesitated in believing. They all knew there is a plausible reason why he gave two different answers. They didn't say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is confused, hasha lillah. They didn't say that the Sunnah, you can take it, you can reject it. They did what Allah commanded them to do when they didn't understand. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know when you don't know. So they say, Ya Rasulullah, that man came, you said this. The other man came, you said that. What's that all about? The Nabi said about the second man, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the shaykh, يَمْلُكُ نَفْسَهُ. That man is an older man. He's elderly. And as a result of that, he's more in control of his desires. So there's a plausible reason. 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, you don't know, then ask, what did the scholars say about the issue? Al-Imam al-Shafi'i said, It is my opinion that we get these possibilities because one person will come to the Nabi and ask him, is Laylatul Qadr today the 21st? And he will say, look for it in the 21st. Another one comes and says it's the 23rd, look for it in the 23rd, and so forth and so on. Some of the ulama were the opinion that Laylatul Qadr can change from one year to another year. The Muslim who has Iman, he knows that Allah Azza wa Jalla's Prophet described Allah Ta'ala as the time. Inna Allah dahr yuqallibu layla wa nahar. Allah is the time, meaning He's responsible for the time. He makes the day and the night. It's Him. He does what He wants to do with the time. Extends it, whatever He wants to do. The Dajjal will come. Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to make one day the duration of a year, another day the duration of a month, another day the duration of a week. He said from the signs of the hour is that the time is going to be decreased. A day for us is not like the day during the time of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when they had time to do many things. Now in the month of Ramadan, we're on the 24th day. What happened to all of that time? The very first Taraweeh, we remember when it happened. What happened to all of those days? It's Allah Ta'ala who makes the time go fast, slow it up. The sun and other than that. يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر. Allah does what He wants. So He can make Laylatul Qadr switch from month to month, from year to year. So what He wants to do. The point is, we don't reject the Sunnah when it comes like that. The people of the Quraniyun in the month of Ramadan, we know that when Ramadan begins, the shayateen are tied up. That's what the hadith said. They say, no, you see, here's another example of those hadith. What do you mean the shayateen are tied up? In Pakistan, a few years ago, someone set off a bomb and killed over 90 people in the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fought against the Kuffar Quraysh. In Ramadan, the battle of Badr. And the Quran mentions about what Shaitan was saying in that war. When he saw the Malaik and he told the Kuffar Quraysh, Inni ara ma la taraw. I see what you don't see. I'm getting out of here. And he went the other way in the month of Ramadan. Why wasn't he tied up? So they reject the Sunnah based upon that. No, the scholars gave interpretations of that. What does it mean that the shayateen are tied up? In the month of Ramadan, there's the man in our masjid, another in our masjid. He broke his fast by eating. He broke his fast by having sexual relationships. He broke his fast by drinking, making ghiba and namima, the things that go against Ramadan. You're telling me shaitan is not there? No, there's a plausible explanation. What does it mean the shayateen are tied up? He says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, إذا كان أول ليلة من شهر رمضان صفدت الشياطين ومرتت الجن. If Ramadan comes and it begins, then the renegades from the shayateen are tied up. Your shaitan is not tied up. Your shaitan, my shaitan, our wife shaitan, the kuffar shaitan, they're running amok. As for the shayateen who are the big troublemakers, they're the ones who are tied up. The real problematic ones, because they're not on the same level. Just as the believers are not on the same level. In Surah Al-Jinn, Allah Ta'ala mentioned the statement of the jinn. In that particular surah, وَأَنَّا كُنَّا الصَّالِحُونَ وَكُنَّا دُونَ ذَلِكَ كُنَّا تَرَائِقْ كِدَدًا. The shayateen said, we have some religious shayateen, and we have some who are less than that. We have diverse people from amongst us. Have shaitans that are on the sunnah, shayateen who are innovators, shayateen who are communists. Everything that Bani Adam has, those shaitan, they follow the same path. The point is, we don't reject anything from the sunnah based upon I don't understand, I don't comprehend. From what's important, ikhwani, in the month of Ramadan, and this is muhim jiddin on this day. We're in the 24th day of Ramadan. Laylatul Qadr can be the 21st or the 23rd. It could have passed. It could have been that. But the Nabi told the people something that shows us he used to tell us to have special concern and special consideration for the 25th and the 27th and the 29th. Those of you who are making i'tikaf and other than you, the 25th, 27th and 29th, I don't say that they're more important than the previous 2 nights, but they are nights where the Nabi told the people sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, التمسوها في العشر الأواخر فإن ضعف أحدكم أو عجز فلا يغلبن على السبع البواقي look for Laylatul Qadr and the odd nights of the last 10 days. But if one of you becomes tired on the 20th, 21st, 23rd, you're overwhelmed. You've been fasting 21 days, 22, 23 days. You're tired. So on that day, you're going to say, I'm going to take a break. Something happens, you can't come to the masjid. The Nabi said, okay, no problem. But on the last 7 days, pay extra attention to those last 7 days. So the 24th, 25th, 27th, 28th, 29th, the 30th, those days, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, those last 7 days. Today is the 24th of Ramadan. Obviously, no Laylatul Qadr last night, inshallah. Laylatul Qadr can be tonight, the 25th. Everyone should come out on the 25th. Maybe one of the wisdoms behind that is that he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in an authentic hadith that was collected by Imam Ahmed on the authority of Wasila radiyallahu anhu wa ardahu. Unzil al-Quran li arba'in wa ishrin khalat min Ramadan. Verily the Quran was revealed after 24 days passed from Ramadan. One of the strongest proofs that 25th of Ramadan is Laylatul Qadr is that clear hadith. But there are other hadith that suggest the 27th and the 29th. But he said, pay more attention. Pay more attention to the 25th, 27th, and the 29th. From the ahkam of Ramadan is that all of these days and nights, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to become more serious in the day and the night. Our mother Aisha radiyallahu anha, she said about the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, kana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam yajtahidu fil ashr al-awakhir ma la yajtahidu fi ghayriha. He used to make more efforts in the last 10 days, more than he made any efforts prior in the month of Ramadan. He did more in the daytime and more in the nighttime. Not just the nighttime, in the daytime as well as the nighttime. But he put a lot of emphasis on the night. As she said, may Allah be pleased with her. He sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kana shadda mi'zarahu wa ahya laylahu wa ayqadha ahlahu. He used to tie up his belt, which was a symbolic gesture that he would avoid his women. He would not have relationships with them. He wouldn't make them busy with him, and he wouldn't allow them to make himself busy with them. He avoided them sexually. Now that is haram. Symbolic gesture, a symbolic statement. He avoided them and he focused on the ibadah. He didn't avoid them altogether. It said that he would wake his family members up to encourage them to pray. And he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would pray more during those days. So from doing those nights. So from his sunnah is to engage our families in the last 10 days. To encourage them to do more in the day and in the night. To bring the children to the masjid. To bring your wife to the masjid. To encourage her. She missed all of Ramadan, cooking, cleaning, whatever she was doing. Bring her to the masjid. In these days, the Nabi used to increase his sadaqah in the day and the night. Especially in the night. Ikhwani, give him £1, Laylatul Qadr. Give him 10 pounds, Laylatul Qadr. 20 pounds, Laylatul Qadr. Giving your zakat, Laylatul Qadr. Who told you you have to wait until after Ramadan to give your zakat? Maybe you just thought, maybe you heard, zakat is given after Ramadan. Who told you that? That you've been doing it all these years. Since you don't know why you're doing it, it's permissible to give your zakat on one of the odd nights of Ramadan and do it that way every year. So that you can establish the year that you had the money, the whole, and so forth and so on. Whatever monies that you put forth in the month of Ramadan, it is going to be multiplied 1,000 months as the ayat said. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam tasliman kathira, he used to increase in the month of Ramadan. Ibn Abbas described it, he said, he was the most generous of the people. وَكَانَ أَجْوَدُ مَا يَكُونْ فِي الرَّمَضَانِ حِينَ يَلْقَاهُ جِبْرِيلُ وَكَانَ جِبْرِيلُ يَلْقَاهُ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ مِنْ رَمَضَانَ فَيُدَارِسُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. Every time Jibril used to come to him, he used to do more and give more sadaqah in the month of Ramadan, and he became more generous when Jibril would come to him in the night in order to rehearse with him the Quran. So giving sadaqah is from those ibadat that when the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam tied up his string on his pants, on his izar, as a symbolic gesture, becoming serious, he used to give zakat. So whether it is to this masjid or to your relatives or to the people who are in need. Be of those people who during these days are going to earmark some of your money to give someone who needs help, like a student who's studying in school. Help the individual in the daytime during these months, during these last days, or during the nights which remain, the 25th, the 27th, and the 29th. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ikhwani, in his salat, in the last 10 days, he started to elongate his prayer. And that's why the vast majority of masajids, many of them, they're doing Taraweeh and they're doing the Qiyam al-Layl. There's a fiqh way of doing both of them, or either of the two. The important thing is, make yourself one of the people who are participating in one of them at least. He used to pray more in the month of Ramadan. And in his salat, in the prayer, our mother Aisha asked him, Ya Rasulullah, if it happens to be the Laylatul Qadr, and I'm alive, and I find that day, what should I say? He told her the famous hadith that I think most of us must have memorized by now. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are the one who pardons, and you love to pardon people. So pardon me for my indiscretions and my mistakes. He used to make that dua in his prayer, and the prayers that he used to increase. And it's permissible to make that dua outside of the prayer. It's permissible to make it in your sajda. Permissible to make it in the qunut. The closest that the slave is to Allah Azza wa Jalla is while he's in sajda. He says, so increase your dua. You don't have to just stick with the dua that you memorize from the sunnah. You can make the dua as much as you want while you are praying in that salat of, and you're in the sajda. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, generally speaking, ikhwani, he looked for the rewards of Ramadan in these last 10 days, unlike the previous ones. Before his death, he used to make i'tikaf. So in trying to get the reward of Ramadan, from the serious ibadat is the ibadah of staying and secluding oneself in the masjid. Staying in the masjid for those last 10 days and knowing the ahkam of why you're staying in the masjid. Those of you who are staying in the masjid, you're not like the people who are not staying in the masjid. It's not easy to stay in the masjid for 10 days. It doesn't go along with the way our lives are. Even if a person doesn't work, it's hard to stay in the masjid for 10 days. A person who is homeless, he comes to the masjid for an opportunity just to have free rent, 10 days to live. It's not easy for him staying in the masjid. To be in a masjid can be like being in a prison for some people. So because of this, the level of this ibadah, know for surety, those of you who are in the masjid, you almost have to be an antisociable individual. If you sit around and you're eating and you're talking, wasting time, that's not the i'tikaf of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't be antisocial. You have to get salams. You have to make an amr bil ma'ruf, an nahy anil munkar. You have to advise. You can talk to people. There's sociability connected to it. But the issue is, don't squander the opportunity of staying in the masjid for 10 days, but you didn't really stay the i'tikaf of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. The i'tikaf was so important during this time that he even allowed his wives to make the i'tikaf. We don't have those facilities. I don't think that's being allowed in this masjid. But the point here is, it is a proof and an indication and an example of how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam became serious about doing the ibadat in these days. What has passed has passed. And the dua is, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afu fa'fu anni. You love to pardon. Pardon me for the wasted time in the last 23 days. Help me to establish in these last few days where I'm going to get rewarded for all of that stuff that went by. It's an opportunity that we have to seize. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi amma ba'du. Ikhwani, the masjid is still in need of your continued financial support. In these days of Ramadan, as we mentioned, every year it doesn't change, and it won't change until Allah Azza wa Jalla inherits the earth and who and what is upon it, inshallah. Ramadan, the nature of it is the month of giving and giving and giving and giving. The ayat of the Quran where Allah Ta'ala said to this ummah, to the companions, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ مِنَ التَّهْلُكَةِ, don't destroy yourselves with your own hands. Don't destroy yourselves with your own hands. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari said the meaning of that hadith, the first meaning, the primary meaning of the hadith is that, or the ayat is that, in the beginning of Islam, we used to give a lot of money. When the Prophet would ask us for things and he wanted us to give money to do things, we would willingly give it without holding back. But then when Islam started spreading and we started conquering the people and we started accumulating wealth, some of the people started to hold back and they were not giving the money the way they gave it when they were weaker in the state when the Islam was in the beginning. So Allah Ta'ala told them, don't destroy yourselves with your own hands by not giving. So we're asking you to give and to donate generously in these last 10 days to the masjid and to any and every other program or project that you know is worth your while. Give to your relatives in the month of Ramadan in these last 10 days. Those of you who have the zakat to give some of that zakat to those relatives who you are responsible for, like your aunties and your uncles. Before you give that zakat to anybody else from people who are not connected to you, you'll get the double reward of your zakat and the other reward of connecting the ties of relationship. Ummatul Islam, in front of us are a few more days. Let's do our best, inshallah ta'ala, to get focused, to get serious. Try to waswas of the shaitan and the war of the shaitan that he's waged against us, to get what remains. Allah knows best. Laylatul Qadr may be tonight. Come to the masjid tonight. Come to the masjid, inshallah, on Sunday night. All of these days possibly can be the blessed night of Laylatul Qadr. May Allah Ta'ala establish us all upon the Kitab and the Sunnah and allow us the opportunity to take advantage of Laylatul Qadr. May Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon all of us, those of us who have died and those who are living and those who are sick. And may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala not allow Laylatul Qadr to go without us taking ample opportunity to seize the moment. Aqim as-salat yarhamukumullah.